Welcome to the PRFFP podcast, the podcast showcasing the films and the directors of the Party Room Film Festival. I am not your host, Jacob McGlone. This week's guest directed a boring film, a great film, and a 2-minute slice of hell. Please welcome Jacob McGlone.
Is that what we're calling it? A 2-minute slice of hell?
Well, I've actually, before we did this, I took the liberty of texting some of the viewers, the audience, and just asked for reviews. And I'm wondering if I can read those reviews to you. So
I would love that. Yes, please.
so review one, Jacob's film is the purest form of low budget art that defied all expectations. Another one here, a deep dive into a secret part of Jacob McGlone's brain that simultaneously leaves you intrigued by the originality and questioning if it should have remained hidden. Pretty good. It's worth watching, even if you don't understand what you're watching. I think that kind of sums it up pretty well. Here's 2 reviews. There were gummy bears, pretty straight to the point. A cavity-inducing thrill ride was another review. And then this probably takes the cake here. Imagine Avatar, but if it was produced for Nickelodeon and directed by Tommy Wiseau. Paul delivers the performance of his life, a must-see. So definitely
Tommy Wiseau's The Room, right?
Yes. Or is it? Okay. It's Room or The Room. Yeah. One is an Oscar film and one is barely a film, but I don't know which one is which. So yeah, so I guess just what were we could start anywhere, but I'm going to start here because this is the first question you gave me. First reactions to getting to choose your category. So how thankful, really what I want to know is how thankful were you that the council let you choose your category on a scale of thankful to super thankful?
The whole choosing your own category, I think a lot of people were thankful. For me and Aaron, we really struggled with it because it's like whenever the world is your oyster and you have like unlimited potential, unlimited creativity, it's kind of overwhelming. Like you don't know what to do. So like initial reactions were like, yay. But then once we kind of started talking about it, we were like, I don't know what we're going to do about this.
Right. And then, so how did you end up coming up with the category?
Well, so Aaron had already basically written his entire script by that point, and so he was trying to make it fit his already written and I think already shot film. He was like, I'm already done with this much, so can we do nature? And I was like, I don't think that's the spirit of the festival. I don't think that's the spirit of what we're trying to do. And so I just said, no, let's talk about it in a few days. Well, a few days later, I got a piece of paper in the mail and it was a picture of my wife's face, but like eyes were like X'd out and burned and stuff. And it said, you will do what I tell you. Huh. So he basically strong armed me into change. Like I wanted to do something that, would have been challenging for us, but he really wanted to do change. So that's how we ended up on it. He believed me.
Yeah, no. And I mean, on one hand, I see where you're coming from, and I see that, being paired with Aaron would be unfair because he is, at the end of the day, just I think we can say a bully. I think we all interacting with Aaron believe that he bullies himself into winning situations. On the other hand, though, you did challenge him numerous times in the podcast. So is it fair to say that, for lack of a better word, you brought this on yourself?
I would say that I brought the butt whooping on myself, but I don't think the mental torture,
emotional trauma.
Yeah, the emotional trauma, the mind games, I didn't think that was a part of it whenever I signed up for this.
So just to clarify, after you watched Aaron enter the first year and make a film about a demonic roommate, you didn't know that he would try to emotionally destroy you.
Hey man, hindsight's 2020. Now it seems really obvious.
I mean, yeah, no, that's very fair. So change, you settled on the category of change. How, gotta be honest, watching through your film, I'm not really seeing how that applies. So I'm assuming you can, maybe enlighten us on that a bit.
Well, the city is now rubble at the end of the film, so
Sure.
it changed.
Okay, sure. We can unpack that a little bit. I don't want to.
That's all there is. That's this needs to be a 10-minute interview because there's nothing there.
No, it's weird. I like honestly, I'm glad you said that because after watching your overall film that was 2 minutes with a main plot line of 87 seconds, I hadn't realized that there was no point to it. So I am, and we can unpack that a little later maybe, but when did you begin working on the idea, scripting, casting, shooting, editing, general timeline, that kind of stuff? Give me just the the general inspiration behind this idea, because I believe it had something to do with sickness. I guess this is the proverbial chicken or egg situation. Which came first, the gummy bears or COVID?
Yeah, I think that I had, gosh, how do I put this? I think I had some form of an idea of like it'd be fun to do a kaiju film and like do a big monster thing.
I know what a kaiju film is, obviously, but for those in the group that don't, could you maybe explain more?
Big monsters.
Sure.
Godzilla, sure. King Kong, the like.
Right.
I think at some point, like I thought, like that'd be funny. I don't think anybody else is going to do that. And I was thinking about like building like a small city and then being the giant in it and doing something with like a growing or shrinking ray, something like that. No, you mentioned that like I had COVID when I filmed it. That's stated in the film. I'm really not sure when the idea came to fruition and like when I settled on like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. I think part of it is in the new Jack movie. The opening scene is a guy who his is painted green and he's like walking it around a small city. And then like a giant snapping turtle comes up and it's like a battle of the monsters. I think that kind of affected it a little bit, like that old movie magic type of style.
Yeah. I can see how that would be inspiring.
Yep. I'm not saying that it was good. I was on the road for 10 weeks last summer, like just back to back. And I was home for 1 week and I was like, all right, this is when I need to film. I need to have an idea. And that's the week I had COVID. So that's just kind of what happened. A lot of things happened that week.
Yeah. So, but like even entering it, right, you're going up against Aaron, right? So basically, I mean, was it purely just like, all the trash talk in the off season? Was this just pure bluster basically? And then, or like, did you have an idea and then it didn't work? And so you had to simplify, right?
I don't think I ever had an idea. I think
actually, having watched your final film and you saying you didn't have any idea what you were doing, it's hard for me to make that connection.
I think that I realized, all right, after this week, I'm not going to be able to film because I'm going to be on the road for etc. more weeks. So whatever my first idea is that is doable, that is what we're doing. So that's how it happened.
So yeah, as far as a general timeline, you obviously June 1st to July 31st, right? When did you film? When did you get sick? And then when did you finish editing it? Because I believe you were the second one to finish and submit.
Filmed and shot it the week that I had COVID.
Are we talking like
shot? What an idiot! You stupid moron.
End of June, July.
End of June. It was for my birthday that last year I got COVID. So it was birthday's June 29th. So let's just say it was around June 24th that I started filming and all that and editing and all that.
Awesome. That's great to know.
And then, or I guess I'll continue.
Yeah.
And so I filmed and edited all of it within like 3-4 days, something like that.
Mhm.
Basically, I would film it and then like go to sleep and then edit it, then go to sleep, then edit it, then go to sleep, and like 4 hour rotation basically. And then I leaned on my good buddy Levi I was like, hey man, will you do some of the audio editing for me? You did amazing last year.
Sure.
Just because it's fun to have people work with you.
Sure.
But apparently it's a no-no for
Well,
this community to work together.
well,
That's insane.
here's the thing. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. That's something I want to discuss, but I want to dedicate a body of time to that, if that's okay.
Okay.
So, well, I definitely want to hit on that later.
Yeah.
But this, I realized I did miss this, and I want to get your initial reactions to the actor you had to use, being Paul Sigler, I believe, the prop,
Mhm.
and then the line. So let's just go one by one. Prop. Nickelback.
Okay. Prop. Terrible. Bad.
Sure. Great. The line, red sun rises, blood has been spilled this night.
It's not a bad line, but it lends itself to a certain action taking place. Like, there has to be death. There has to, and it's such a long line too. That
Right.
really stumped me a lot.
Mhm. Well, yeah. So, and then your actor is Paul. So let's talk about Paul for a second. Obviously, his performance ranks as one of the top performances for any actor in Party Room Film Festival, and its rich history, dating back to, I mean, gosh, 2020. So, where do you think? But Paul also has a large body of work and a large history of performances. This role, where do you think that ranks for him as the evil scientist?
I think that this is probably Paul's best work ever. And I think everybody would agree. I don't think he wants to acknowledge or admit
Right.
that, but I think it's definitely true.
Probably out of humility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably why. So yeah, did you find that it was easy for Paul to get into this character, or like did he have some trauma? And maybe he would be better to talk about this than you, but was there some childhood trauma he was able to tap into to play the evil scientist, or did you have to really just push him to get to that performance?
Oh, also, I didn't answer your question. What was my reaction to having Paul? I was intimidated by having Paul be my actor because, I mean, let's just be honest, like he's the mature adult in the group. And I was like,
Sure.
I don't know how this is going to work well because we are cut from different cloths, I would say.
That's a good way to put it.
I felt bad that he got paired with me because it's like, I don't want him to have to be like a kid on the playground and the mom is like, hey, why don't you go be his friend? He doesn't have any, I felt like I was a responsibility for him rather than a collaboration.
Nice.
Anyway, as far as like directing Paul, I just sent him lines and I said, how about you do one menacing, do one where you're yelling, do one with an accent. Like I just said, give me a few takes of each line. The third one I got, yeah, it was just him yelling in this Ed and Eddie voice. And it was perfect. Yeah. I cried laughing whenever I heard because I was like, there's no way that's Paul doing that. It's amazing.
Well, watching it the first time, I didn't realize it was Paul. Like I didn't think of that till the end where they were like, yeah, that's his best performance. And I was like, oh yeah, that was Paul. Now that I think about it. But he really blends into that red gummy bear.
He dug deep into his acting reserves to pull out the performance of a century.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I don't want to take away from, the obvious creative vision that you had for the project. But can I say this? I think this is fair to say. I feel like Paul is the Harrison Ford to your George Lucas, or he would be the Hanks to your Spielberg, maybe. Like you bring the best out of each other.
Okay.
Sure. So his character in the film. So I'm also curious. Can you explain the significance of the candies chosen? Obviously this is a city made up of gummy bears, but is there any significance to the bears? And why weren't, let's say, gummy worms chosen or Swedish fish? Is there any significance to the bears?
Just they're the most humanoid out of candies that are that size.
Well,
actually, here's a fun fact: is that a lot of those candies were mini gummy bears. Like they're like a third the size of a normal gummy bear. That way I could like get some type of scaling out. But yeah, no, and I think that was part of it was like, well, I can have many versions of these. So
Gotcha. Well, and so you're saying it's the most humanoid version of all gummies, but that's actually not true. I mean, Sour Patch Kids comes to mind.
Mm.
But I mean, is there some reason? Obviously, maybe you just don't want to promote violence amongst children.
I don't like Sour Patch Kids. I don't like sour candies. So I think that's all it was.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Many monster movies, so like Godzilla, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Godzilla versus Kong are all metaphors for the negatives of nuclear war or other silly anti-war propaganda. So what commentary did you want to convey in How Not to Find Food in the Wild?
Yeah, that's a that's a thinker, am I right? I think that it really is just nope, never mind. I was gonna take it a different way. I'm just gonna stick with my original answer of yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't have a good answer for it though.
Okay, so one thing I also noticed, obviously you cut to the Oval Office, and you say Mr. President there. Are you against women being president?
Oh man. I mean, yes. But I'm just gonna go back to my previous question and say, yeah, that's a good question. I don't have an answer for it.
You're just gonna pass.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about your use of color. You've got all sorts of. I know this is mainly just a question for Sam, but you use a lot of different color shading. So you have obviously the different types of gummy bears. You have the shading of the green monster. Are any of these colors meant to evoke any kinds of feeling or anything?
I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I actively made sure that the evil scientist was the only red gummy bear.
That
was in the whole film.
No, not true.
Is that not true?
No, let me I will double check for you because obviously we don't want any false information getting out there. But hold on. I believe there are other red gummies. Well, they're pink. Hold on. Let me look at the shading here.
Shading.
Oh, no, you know what? You're right. I apologize. There are some pink gummies that looked red, but okay, that's my fault.
Yeah, man. To try and catch me in a fallacy. No, I think that I made sure that he was the only red one, and then I wanted that the portal was like blue and the monster was green, and then his plans were blue and green. So like I was trying to like have themes there, but also no, like that's just
fair enough. I'm glad you explained it. So your entire story is 87 seconds long, discounting, and that includes. So what I did, I cut out the beginning, and then I included as much audio as you hear at the end. So the moment I forget if you turn it off or close the laptop or whatever, that is 87 seconds long. Do you feel you accomplished all you needed in a story in that time?
I accomplished as much as I was going to accomplish in that time. The bad guy met his end. He became the victim of his own creation. That's a good enough story for me.
So is this maybe a good versus evil narrative, or maybe in a way it's like the fallacy of man, maybe, in like him creating something that destroys him?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Wrapping up here because we'll get to the verses here in a second, but let's talk about your win in the Spirit of Area 50 Love category. Obviously a big deal because you unseated one of the most accomplished directors of our generation, Trevor Smith, the man who the award was effectively named after his body of work. So how did it feel to unseat him in that category?
I think that Trevor and I switched techniques this past year because it feels like this past year he tried hard and like made something incredible that does not belong in this film festival, which I'm not saying that's what Meaningless was, but I mean, it kind of was, or it was for me. It was like, I try hard. But I think this year I decided to go the Trevor route and make something that people are just going to laugh really hard at for a little bit, just for a few seconds. And yeah, that's it. It always feels good to have my name in the same sentence as Trevor Smith.
Sure. Yeah.
He's obviously like he's the godfather of this whole festival and probably the best director in the festival. It just it feels good.
It feels very good. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got to get to the elephant in the room, right? And so it's the audio, right? And I know we're both kind of thinking the same thing when we talk about audio in your film. It was crap. I think we can fairly say, right? So just not great. So let's just kind of talk about your theories on audio. And by the way, I've invited a friend to join us. So you might be getting a notification request to join the meeting, and you should let that person in. So just kind of keep it.
This is really interesting because I can just say no. Like,
it would be very disappointing if you said no.
Since I'm the host of the meeting, I hold all the power. All right. Do you want me to wait on this mysterious guest?
No, you can keep talking. Then just as this person pops in, just accept the request.
Okay. What? Remind me the question.
Yeah, basically. So just obviously we all saw your film. More importantly, we heard your film, and the audio was crap. So can you maybe explain why the audio was the way it was? As our guest pops in, Levi.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, welcome to the podcast, man. I was just asking Jacob here just to kind of lead us off. Obviously, we all saw his film. We all heard his film. More importantly, audio was crap. I think we can all agree to that. So really, I wanted Jacob to just kind of identify why it was the way it was.
Yeah. I'd love to hear that.
Levi, are you still at work?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually kind of got to make this quick so you can get back to work. So
this is the second time I've called him at work today.
This is my second 15-minute break. I can spend 15 minutes here.
Oh, okay, good. We got time.
Yeah, you got time.
All right. My audio was crap because Levi didn't do it. I mean, we can. But also, I don't think my audio was crap. I think I did a pretty decent little soundscape.
That's interesting.
As Levi, as the audio expert, what were your impressions of the audio in his film? And feel free to be as blunt as possible.
Yeah, I'll be blunt and descriptive. Phrases that came to mind were things like 0 out of 10.
Oh.
F, would not recommend. F again, to pay respect for the audio. And yeah, gross. Also, I just kind of felt like clammy, and it was just overall an uneasy feeling. I actually took a shower after I listened to that audio. It would just make me feel dirty.
I remember you sending it to you saying, hey, do you have any advice? And you saying that it was good.
Yeah, I'd like to see the receipts on that one.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably just being polite. Speaking of receipts, I'm going to try and share my screen here if that's okay. Give me 1 second here. Do I hit present now? Your entire screen. Let's do that. Oh, great. Well,
this is another one of those long pauses that you enjoy, Levi.
Dude, you are the worst with those.
I actually extended your pause in the episode today.
I was like, I don't remember it being this long. Just cut it out. Cut it out.
No,
I'm trying to share my screen.
The meta content is what makes people happy. It's meta, so it's good. That's how it works.
I'm not gonna lie, I laughed a lot.
So basically, what I've done before I butchered this was I went through and I went to the original conversation in the nerd chat we had about your audio,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to do a dramatic reading of that with you, me, and Levi here.
Okay.
The idea was that would happen with the
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's a lot. So
All right, hold on. I don't have my second monitor, so we're gonna have to figure out how to do this.
all right, so let's do that first image.
Okay.
And we'll just go through it. So again, I've assigned some roles. I tried to get them mostly on who was on whose side. It's not perfect though. So I will read for myself, for Sam, for Mitchell. Mitchell was hard to kind of put in a category because he switched sides a time or two. Levi, you will be reading for the part of Levi.
Okay.
I only have you reading Levi because I think it really emphasizes how late to the game you got into this conversation. Which
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and then Jacob, you will be reading for Jacob, Cody, Aaron, and Tanner.
Jacob, Cody, Aaron, Tanner. Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just go through these. Jacob, if you want to start us off.
Before we start, I do want to go just give my little disclaimer. I knew that my film would be dog dirt. So that's why I was like so annoying. I was like, look, man, I'm going to win this year. Aaron's going down because I knew I had no chance. Anyway, that being said, I just want to go on record right now and say I've got this year in the bag. Finish the visual editing and send it off to the audio wizard for his magic makeover. Even without the finished product, I am certain it will beat Aaron Winiarowski. Aaron Winiarowski, Jacob McGlone, you're going down, bro.
Mitchell, Jacob McGlone, are you claiming the Golden Dewey for this year as well?
You know, I think I am. I outdid last year's submission tenfold. At everyone can't defeat me this year.
And then Mitchell posted a gif of Elmo saying, really? Then I said, I'll be honest, can't say I'm a fan. Oh, this is actually important. I was at Dollywood that day, waiting in line for some rides. So that's just some important context. I'll be honest, can't say I'm a fan of someone else editing your film, almost like you didn't make it. Might have to factor into my voting.
I'm not good at audio.
Sam says, yeah, that's lame. And I said, Trevor's not good at Photoshop. And Sam says, shouldn't get audio help. Not getting my vote, McGlone. And I said, it's like Theseus' ship. If you replace old planks one by one on Theseus' ship, when does it become not his ship? This is a Theseus' film situation. Sam says, I vote we retroactively strip McGlone's trophies from him last year because I'm sure he did the same last year. I said, basically, he's using PEDs. You can go to the next one. And yeah, he did. At the end of the day, if we let voters decide, we let the voters decide. If the voters determine his PED-infested film is deserving of winning over Aaron's own hard work he invested into his project, then that's on the voters. Basically, it's like, are you rooting for the communist Ivan Drago who takes shortcuts and steroids to win? Or are you rooting for the all-American Rocky who trains in snowy mountains the old-fashioned American way?
Explain.
I think you're going the wrong way.
You're going the wrong way. Jeez, there's so much of this.
Yeah, there's a lot. We might not want to do all this. That's my bad.
Yeah, and yeah, all right, explain.
Yeah, explain. Sam says, you're enhancing your film's performance by using drugs, aka someone else.
Okay, but what's PED stand for? I agree.
Sam says, performance-enhancing drugs.
Oh, yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
And Sam says, what a disgrace.
Let's
skip ahead a couple times until we see Levi, because it does take quite a bit. Cody enters the chat. We argue for a bit more. This is now, we're on screenshot probably 7 or 10 at this point. And eventually, let's keep going. Up. There's a green GIF. There. Levi finally enters the chat.
Me popping into this.
Yeah. So the first thing that I did was I put a Giphy GIF in there. That's Bart Simpson, right? He goes out of the hedge and then goes right back into it. And I said, me popping into this group chat.
And Sam says, blame McGlone. I said, yeah, Levi's just trying to make an extra buck. You can't blame him. And truly, I think, Levi, you're the only one who did Well, that's not true. There were a lot of people who did nothing wrong in this chat. And then beyond those who did nothing wrong, you're the purest of those who did nothing wrong.
Except,
McGlone, sorry, go for it, Levi.
except that I follow that up by saying I'm good at exploiting, which is pretty incriminating.
Well, but you're exploiting Jacob,
Fair enough.
which is, yeah. Let's fast forward to the last screenshot there. Again, I was at Dollywood this entire time, and Jacob, if you want to just read that that last line.
You know what? I will do my own audio this year. Levi is now out of a job thanks to the pressure of public opinion.
My eyes go wide. I've been fired.
Cody says, "Poor guy, public firing due to social pressure." So after that all, I guess, Jacob, what were your reactions to, basically being told that what you were doing was wrong?
Felt weird. It was like, just what really feels weird is that Levi takes the side of the people who lost him his job. Like, why does Levi give me crap?
How much were you going to pay him, actually?
I think like $50.
It was a solid job. It was
like
it was good.
for a 2-minute film. I think
87
$50.
seconds.
I think I did the same last year, which was probably a lot more work, 50 or 75.
Yeah.
It just felt like audio is one of those things that can take a film to the next level and can really make a film a lot better. That's what it did last year. Also, it sucks to do for people like me, I'm more of a visual person. So I was like, you know what? If I have really crappy visuals, but like a super amazing soundtrack and score and all of that to it, then I think that makes it funnier. And
Yeah.
also I didn't want to do it. I wanted to reach out to the community that we have together and just like, work together, collaborate. Just like really, it's all about, staying in touch and like, I thought that's what the festival was about. And possibly rewarding people, because
Sure.
this is what Levi does professionally. I don't want him donating his time. Like, that's an insult to him. So yeah, if I slipped him a couple bucks afterwards, then, I think that's a good thing. But now I know I shouldn't have people act in my films. I shouldn't have people do cameos, help people who have people who are having people shoot for them, do lighting, camera work, helping with scripts, editing. Those are all bad, apparently. I didn't know that, but now I know, and now I won't ask for help anymore. So,
Gotcha. And Levi, how do you feel about being fired?
It was tough. I mean, he paid a really livable wage. I mean, he didn't short me. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty sad. I was, it was all I ever wanted to do was the sequel to Meaningless. Meaningless 2. So,
Sure.
yeah, I didn't sleep well after that. I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna put food on the table. So, but it's whatever. He seemed like it wasn't even a big deal. So it kind of ended our relationship and started a new one where I don't like him.
Sure.
And that's why for his film, he didn't put me on the poster.
Right.
He didn't really have me in the process. He just had me in there for like 2-3 frames.
Right. Yeah. As little as possible, like humanly possible, without getting in trouble with the council was my idea.
Yeah. I mean, I think our relationship was on the mend. Like, we just collaborated for this new song, but I think now that Andrew's brought this up, I think it's ripped that wound right back open.
Yeah, I would say so.
You know what, man? I'll talk to you at festival next year. Whatever, man.
So do you want me to leave the call now? Is that what you want?
I don't know. This is Andrew's bit.
I know. That's good, Levi. I'm glad you popped in. And if there's anything else you haven't been asked that you want to do or want to mention here.
No. Actually, okay. On a real note, I had no idea what I was supposed to do with Jacob's film, like with Meaningless, because the man was paying me, I think it was like $75, and I was like, this is not just like chump change. He's actually shelling out. But it was this weird movie, and I was like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to do this like really,
For
really good
Meaningless?
or really, really bad? Or
Yeah.
it was
Wait,
such
for
a
Meaningless or How Not to Find Food in the Wild?
no, Meaningless. So it was like obviously like I wanted to do a good job,
Yeah.
but like how do you do a good job on perf film, you know? Like
Yeah.
you just
Well, you
you
do what you
do.
did.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm glad you liked it because I definitely was just like I have no idea what this man wants from me. So so I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it was perfect. I would love to see you. I would love to like send you the muted version of How Not to Find Food in the Wild just to see what you would do and just see if I went in you know what I mean? Like, what would a professional do and what would I do? And like see
Yes.
what I could learn.
Dude,
That
you
being
know,
said, don't do it because I'm not paying you because it's bad. Apparently, don't work together, guys. Oh no.
here's the
Oh,
thing.
it's
It
so
could
bad.
be good if I do the audio. Do you remember when Taylor Swift came out with Taylor's version of all of her songs on Red?
No.
Okay. Well, basically, long story short, Taylor Swift re-recorded all of her songs because she didn't own the rights to them technically.
Mhm.
And so she had to re-record them. Now she owns all of these new versions of her songs, which are just essentially like carbon copies of her old ones, like Red and Fearless, which are some of her most iconic songs.
Mm.
So we should do Levi's version of yours. And so I'll just like dub over all of the audio and we'll see which one is better.
I mean, I'm still proud of the audio that I made.
Parts of it were good, but parts of it were, you know, could be better.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Well, if you don't want that, then I won't do it. But you know, just thought it would be fun in the spirit of, you know, hanging out with my family. And
No.
being-
We're not supposed to hang out. We're not supposed to collaborate together and like stay in touch. That's not the spirit of the Party Room Film Festival, apparently. I'm
yeah, I'm
sorry.
getting that vibe from one person in this chat, and it's
Are
you.
you kidding me?
I was like kind of nice to you when you were interviewing me, but now, wow, I feel power. You know, maybe I should leave. I'm
Hey, sorry, I'm getting a call from work. Do you mind if I mute real quick? I legitimately, this is actually kind of a thing. Sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry.
This interview is not going well.
Oh my gosh. Actually, I'm 5 minutes over my 15-minute break, so I need to
Okay,
leave.
yeah, get out of here, man. Get out of here. I
Dude.
love you. Thank you for stopping in.
Love you too. This was fun. See ya.
Bye. All right. Well, guys, it's just me and you while Andrew is on his phone call. Guess what we're gonna do? Should we play let's play Catan. I don't think there's a huge point to
I'm sorry, man.
I'm gonna regret this, but we're gonna go toward the coast and get oh hey, you're back.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Okay, so after that fun segment, we're now going to get into the versus categories. So let's dig into that a bit if we can. So Jacob, can you share your screen here? Perfect. So yeah, first we have Jacob versus Brutus Buckeye.
I did not know his name was Brutus. That's a fun little thing. I like that my stats are he's Jacob McGlone because that really is all you need to know when it comes down to it.
That's all you need.
Because I'm basically immortal.
Right.
6 to 6'9", depending on if it rains. I imagine that has to do whether or not he's wearing a hat from Ohio, so it can't be that tough. Talents include headbanging, headstands, buck tucks, dancing, fake singing, playing the drums, listening, and striking amazing poses. I think I've got this one. I'm giving that point to myself because, let's be honest, it's basically just a normal guy with a big head.
Especially if it rains, then he's even shorter. I don't even really understand why that is.
I imagine that they put like a raincoat over him or something, like big poncho, so he has to take the hat off. I'm not sure.
Possibly. Gotcha. Okay, sounds good.
Oh, I'm the one that needs to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna just scroll Photoshop, but apparently I can't share my screen.
Oh no! Do you have a different picture for every?
I do. So these photos were
no.
around the tables at your wedding rehearsal dinner. And I took a photo of as many as I could, and I didn't know what I would use them for, but I knew I would use them, and I found a way to use them. So this is who would win in a fight: Jacob versus Bulbasaur. I don't know anything about this.
Well, as the Pokemon expert in the chat right now, this is essentially a frog with a piece of lettuce on his back, a head of lettuce. So I'm gonna say that I can take him in a fight
Nice.
pretty easily.
Sure. Yeah, 2-4. Yeah, Jacob McGlone versus the Apostle Paul.
These pictures are bumming me out, man. The Apostle Paul, he is not as hot as Paul Sigler, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Killed Christians bad. Yeah, that is pretty bad.
Wanted to emphasize that.
I don't know why, but I always imagine him as like a really old dude. I guess I imagine most people from the Bible as like really old dudes. So I'm just gonna again say me because I can beat up old people. So
Fair enough. So you're 3 for 3 now. All right, Jacob McGlone versus Goofy.
all right. Oh, that's my dog Lucy. They're dead now.
Wow.
Versus Goofy, 6'3", 180, has crazy energy. He's two-dimensional, so that's got to be pretty easy. He's kind of an idiot, and his shoes are basically flippers. So I mean, I feel like that's pretty easy. Also, like I think that he's a bad person because he walks Pluto around, which is another dog.
Sure.
And like that's basically like slavery or racism or something.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but it's not good and it's not okay. So I think my hatred would fuel me, and I think that I could take him.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you don't think that crazy energy is any kind of indication that you'd lose there?
No, I think I've got Goofy. I'll be honest with you. I'm very confident in my abilities, and like after the humiliation that I suffered at Josiah's hands, saying that I would lose to a billion lions, your whole roster that you have for me, they're gonna get rocked. Okay,
Yeah.
like they are getting bodied.
I don't know. Some of these are pretty tough.
All right. Well, so far I'm not flinching. I'm ready.
Interesting. Okay, who would win in a fight? Jacob McGlone versus a hen. Ahem is Mr. Lunt in Lord of the Beans.
Yes.
He's named after the noise he makes in his throat.
My name is Ahem. God, these pictures, man, you're killing me. Okay. He's still just like a little potato. When I was a kid, that scene did scare me whenever he was running around. Like the VeggieTales scene of this scared me.
Yeah,
but
terrifying.
No, I mean he's still just a little potato, and it doesn't look like he really has eyes. So I mean, I think I got it.
You got him. Yeah, I couldn't find a proper height, but I believe he's an onion. So
is he an onion?
I don't know. Do we know?
I'm pretty sure potato, but now that we're talking about it, I don't actually know.
I don't either. Yeah, Jacob McGlone versus the Kennedys.
All three.
All three. JFK, RFK, and Teddy. And just for clarification, this is the Kennedys when they were alive. Just to emphasize that.
One killed a woman?
Yeah, do you not know about that?
No.
Yeah, look up Chappaquiddick. Basically, they were driving home after a fundraiser. This was Teddy. They were driving home after a fundraiser, and he had a woman in the front seat, and he allegedly drove the car. Well, these are the facts. The car that he was driving was driven off of a bridge into a river. He escaped, and the woman was still in the car when they found it. And this Teddy did not contact the authorities, and she actually survived the initial crash, and then she suffocated in the air pocket.
Jeez.
So,
all right.
Also, 2 of them were shot.
2 of them were shot. So in the Kennedy family, it's either you shoot or you get shot. Like, that is your options.
Yeah, you kill or are killed.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, why tell me why you put me up against 3 people.
I don't know. I thought it would be funny.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think I could take like 2 out of 3 of them. Like, just look at these stupid, goofy smiles. They look like idiots. Like, I could. Oh,
keep in mind, JFK. I don't know about the others, but I know JFK served in World War II.
Cool.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Care. He's not ready for. It's a dumb line. Edit it out. No, I'm gonna. I'll give that to them because it's a 3-on-1 handicap match. It's kind of bull crap, but it's fine.
Fair enough. I knew you wouldn't win all of them. All right, we got Jacob McGlone versus Orange Cassidy.
Oh, dude, have you watched any of his matches?
Jacob, what do you think?
Okay, Orange Cassidy's deal is that he does not try at all. So, like, he wrestles with his hands in his pockets, and like whenever he's kicking people, he doesn't go, yeah. He like basically just taps them with his toe. He's more of a comedy wrestler.
Gotcha.
Named after a fruit called the orange. Yeah, good job. Still not as hot as Paul. That would, yeah, if Paul was a pro wrestler, I think that would be
yeah.
That would probably be Paul.
All right, so you both in the ring. Who wins?
Him.
Yeah. Shoot. With all your confidence, it doesn't.
Well, so I'm thinking about it like, the way he punches people is he goes like that, but it will still send him flying out of the ring. So if he uses 100% of his power, then he'll put a hole through my chest.
Gotcha.
There was one match where he caught somebody in his arms and he rocked them to sleep. Then he went under the ring, which wrestling fans will know means you're getting a table or a chair or a kendo stick, something like that. He goes under the ring and pulls out a blanket and a pillow, and then he reads them a bedtime book and pins them while they're asleep.
Wow.
And that's just veteran strategy that I couldn't compete with.
Yeah, that's hard to mess with. That's hard to mess with.
Tell me how you found Orange Cassidy. I'm just out of curiosity.
Yeah, no, I looked at the list that you sent me of ones you didn't use, and this was the one that hadn't been used. And I chose.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he was on the list. Whoops.
Yeah, he was. Most of these I came up with by myself, but this one I was like, I have no idea what to even.
Okay.
All right, Jacob McGlone versus Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. This is the Muppets band. It's made up of 6 Muppets. Weapons would include their instruments. There's a lot of saxophones involved. There's some heavily implied drug use as well, probably LSD, but no way to know for sure.
I mean, again, I feel like you are putting me in handicap matches because you know that I will rock anybody in a one-on-one. But I mean, yeah, there's 6 of them. They're gonna win.
Yeah, but they drag a bit because they are slower. Hence the drug use.
Yeah, we'll give that to Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, to much of my chagrin.
Next up, we have Jacob McGlone versus Jonah Hill. He is 5'7". I couldn't verify this. I think I watched a video once that was like, who said the F-bomb the most in movies? And I believe it's him. He is from California, though.
Here's the thing about Jonah Hill is that his body is constantly fluctuating. Like, there will be days where he has the same body as me. Then, like, the next day he will have a bigger body than me. And then on the next day after that, he will have the body of like Chris Hemsworth. Like he just, so I mean, it really depends on the day.
Right.
But
That's why I
given
didn't
that,
put weight or anything down.
yeah, but given that he can just change his body at will,
Hmm.
I'm gonna say that he can win that maybe
That's
because
a superpower in itself. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm giving that to Jonah.
Gotcha. Jacob
What?
McGlone versus a panda.
I could rock a panda. That's
Yeah. I was
That's easy.
shocked. Normally I would say never fight against a bear, but honestly, I was shocked at how much of a pushover these animals are. Like these things are kind of losers.
I really thought you were about to say I was shocked at how much of a pussy this. I was like, whoa.
No,
Edit
I
that
looked up
out.
stats. I was like, really only 4 to 6 feet standing, and like a 250-pound bear is not a big bear.
Mm-mm.
Like,
I mean, along with the fact that like they would be extinct if humans hadn't intervened.
yep,
I think that it'd be pretty easy to
yeah.
kill a panda with
If
your
you've
bare
got to fight
hand.
a bear, this is the bear or a koala bear.
Dude, no, koala bears, they carry venereal diseases. You do
Oh.
not want to get near those.
Fair enough.
Um,
Fair enough. Jacob McGlone versus Lightning McQueen.
Lightning McQueen wins.
Yeah.
He's a car.
Well, I just listened to your podcast with Levi today,
Mhm.
and got into, all the intricacies of the Cars theories and stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like Lightning McQueen, and he can ka-chow. So
He can ka-chow.
yeah, Jacob
what?
McGlone versus Woody Allen.
Isn't this who I put Levi against?
Oh, possibly. He wasn't crossed off on the list.
That's on me. Yeah, no, I'd send him back to the nursing home. I'd send him to the grave. It's
Yeah.
not be a pretty easy one.
And any violence you could do to this guy for producing Annie Hall would be appreciated. So
What is Annie Hall?
it's a really boring art film that I had to watch.
Good enough for me.
Yeah.
Bring him here.
Next. All right, we got Jacob McGlone versus Darth Revan. This is a character, I should say. I'm trying to be careful with spoilers. This is a character present in the Knights of the Old Republic 2003 video game.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. His destiny points are 4.
Yeah, I looked up Darth Revan's stats, and this is what popped up. So
What is this, the Disney character?
no clue. No clue.
No. What category was this one for?
Oh, video game character.
Okay. It was like, I don't. How about you tell me what you think would happen?
Between you fighting a Sith Lord,
Yeah.
the Sith Lord is probably what I would. Again, he does have memory, or she has memory problems, but
Sorry. Continue. They have memory.
memory problems. I can't elaborate on that more if you haven't played the game, but if you played the game, you know.
Sure. We'll go with Darth Revan
Awesome.
just for
Accuracy.
just because I'm trusting you.
Yeah, I trust you, but not against a Sith Lord. I feel pretty strongly a Sith Lord would win that. Jacob McGlone versus Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch.
All right.
And those
This
stats are
dude-
important. He was born on Crunch Island in the Sea of Milk, a magical place with talking trees, crazy creatures, and a whole mountain, Mount Crunchmore, made out of Captain Crunch cereal. He's also old, though.
You couldn't find like a height and weight on this guy?
No, that's all I found.
I feel like, for whatever reason, I feel like I remember him being shorter than children, like in commercials. Like he was only like 3 feet tall. And I
Yeah.
mean, like that's about your height. And
Sure.
I'm pretty sure I could take you in a fight. So I'm just going to say that I could take him in a fight.
Fair enough. Fair enough. There you go. How'd I do? You're like the expert. Were those good selections?
I think so. I'm a little I'm still bummed out about some of those pictures, but
Yeah, if anyone in the chat wants those, let me know. I can post them all, just so everyone has those.
as long as they're not the wedding picture.
Yes, yeah, as long as they're not they are from the wedding. I got them at the wedding, but they are not wedding pictures. So. Okay, so if time or budget wasn't an issue on your film, what would be different?
There are shots that I really wanted to do, but I just couldn't because of being confined to my room, being confined to being sick, basically, like not having the energy to do it from COVID. For example, I wanted to, if I had more time, like if I had 2 weeks where I wasn't working, then I would have tried to accomplish some of these. But like I wanted to put like little tracks of like toothpicks in the foam core that was the city street. And then like I would have had cars like moving along and like maybe made like some of the gummy bears like kind of, dip, 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 like just trying to animate them a little bit. Like not stop motion, but excuse me, not stop motion, but adding some sense of like puppetry to it just to make it a little bit less static. There was one shot that I really wanted to do where you'll have to imagine with me, but like your head, my head. So like obviously, all right, spoilers for everybody, but the monster was me. It was my upside down mouth.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And I had a vision for like a vision. I had an idea for like one shot. I wanted it to be like a tracking shot where the monster was like running down the city, basically, or it doesn't have legs, glooping, like it was like the Blob. And I wanted to basically have the city on 2 tracks on either side of my upside down face and like kind of push the city through, but the camera stays in place. So the perspective would be that like the mouth is going past buildings and the buildings are going back into the background. What doesn't work about that is that, if I'm facing this way, then my shoulders are in the way. So the city had nowhere to go. Right. So I think I would have to like literally just hang upside down to accomplish that and like have a full rig. And I could not do that with COVID. But like there were like some shots that I genuinely wanted it to be like stupid, but like still make it look decent. But I think I wanted it to be stupid, and it ended up looking stupid. Also, do you know what my where my Nickelback CD was?
Yeah, I assume it was the warp speed thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's the portal.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier, but
no, you're good.
Yeah, that was when it was, right? Yeah, so the Nickelback CD was the monster being warped into the city.
But yeah, no, time and budget, I would have just tried to accomplish a few more shots and maybe. But also, I think that if I had more of those shots, then the film would have been longer. And I think if that film was any longer than 87 seconds, like you said, then I think it would have like just been too, like it would have overstayed its welcome a little bit. So
right, fair enough. You've put out 3 films. Rate them. What's your ranking of the 3?
Well, in first place we have Meaningless. That's not difficult.
Sure.
For second place, I'm gonna put How Not to Find Food in the Wild. Even though it is like just objectively worse than my first film, I think it is still a film. Like I don't know, it's still something that's creative, and it's not just me looking and staring at a camera. The first year I like literally didn't know anything about like editing or anything, and so I would still think that somebody would be more interesting in the weird mouth movie than How I Met My Wife now.
Sure. No, this year's film. I mean, I voted for it for Best Picture because it was, or for the Golden Dewey because it was just fun, and we hadn't seen anything like that before. It was great. Speaking of voting criteria, so what boxes need to be checked in order to earn your vote? What's a Jacob McGlone vote film?
I think the Jacob McGlone vote film is whatever Trevor does. To get my Golden Dewey vote, I think you need to go for the Area 50 Love Award. And yeah, I don't know. Just be a tryhard, but also be self-aware that it's dumb to be a tryhard. I think
Right.
that's my I think that's my brand, is like, be tryhard, but also realize that's pretty dumb to spend effort on this. So
Yeah, your thing is put a lot of time and effort into something that doesn't matter a lot. That
Yeah.
that is your brand. That's your brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. What film do you want to act in? Or like who's
who
yeah.
do I want to be the actor for?
Yeah, I'm trying to translate this. What film? Sorry, these are the ones I got from you, so you might know what this is better than I. Whose film do you want to act in? Which person? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, which
It's
person?
like whose film do you want to act in, and like what character, like what
Yeah.
archetype?
Yeah. So yeah,
I
so
really,
yeah, you want me to repeat that?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so whose film do you want to act in, and what character do you want to play?
I would love to be a Matt Stice film, and I would love to be either a John Wick or superhero type. I know Matt just did Bargain Batman, so he might not be wanting to do superheroes anymore, but I just feel like I'm the actor that's willing to like get hurt and do stunts and stuff, and he's the guy that's willing to put in time to do all of these like effects and stuff like that. So I would love to see what could happen if we were paired up together.
I think I think that's what I said too. A lot of people want to be in the Stice cinematic universe. That'd be great. If you could have a tag team partner, who would you choose?
Levi.
Levi. Why is that?
Because I'll do everything except the audio. No, he and I have worked together a lot, so I'll do a different one. Let's see. I've worked with Sam. I've worked with, Zach was the best man at my wedding, and I haven't worked with him at all, like in any of the past films, and that feels weird. So even though literally 90% of the people have said Zach, I'm also going to say Zach.
I mean, he's a great partner. Great partner. You couldn't go wrong with him. I guess the last question here, are there any Easter eggs or fun facts or stories from behind the scenes? Anything you didn't mention that you'd want to mention?
No. I'm ready for us to just never speak about this again. Let's move on. Let's move on. Pretend this didn't happen. This year, I will try hard again. So I think that's my my career looks like a bell curve currently, and so I think that's what my new brand is going to be. Is that I'm going to be very bad, then try hard, then very bad, then try hard. So this year is an up year, so we'll see what happens.
Well, you had a great film. People, I was going to say seem to enjoy it. Don't know if that's the right thing to say, but people remembered your film. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. How did I do as a host? Did I hold up to your standards?
I think you're in the running of being the next host of the podcast, buddy.
That's disappointing. This has been the PRFFP podcast. Just hanging out.
Come on.
What do you mean? Come on.
No, you know, and I'm just hanging out. Like you just said, you got to do the cadence right. Come on, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is the PRFFP podcast, and I'm just hanging out.
The PRFFP podcast?
Yeah, I was wondering if you'd notice that.
That's tautology. You can't do that.
I know. I said that at the beginning too, and you didn't pick up.
Oh, whoops. Wait, you said that at the beginning of the podcast?
Yeah.
All right, we have to restart.
Yeah, okay. This is the PRFFP, and I'm just hanging out.
Hanging out with my family.
Welcome to the supplementary Jacob interview by Golden Dewey winner Matt Stice. Thank you
Very
for being
nice.
on here, Jacob. I appreciate your time. I don't appreciate you giving the interview to Andrew. No, I'm just playing. Um, no, it's cool. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. So the purpose of this interview is this is more or less just like a bonus little content thing to go along with Andrew's interview. So you know how you have like I'm assuming it's just like a typical interview with Andrew, whatever. I have a little bonus mini game for you to play.
Oh,
And this bonus mini game is more or less just like a shameless self-promotion, little shameless like advertisement related to the special announcement that you all have no doubt hopefully have seen in the chat. If you haven't seen it, go to the party room page, because that special announcement, as we hopefully all know by now, is that Party Room Film Festival trading cards are a thing. And we have 42 trading cards being sent out, 14 directors, 42 cards. Each director gets 3. The video has all the details. But I thought it'd be fun if our podcast host played a mini game that was, related to that.
I'm so
So
excited. I'm so
without further
excited.
ado, now,
Do I need to see them to play the game?
no, you don't, because it's all characters. I mean, it might help refresh your memories to who the characters are. But
Okay.
I mean, you've seen the films all however many times, so I'm sure you know who they all
A
are
million.
at this point.
A million times.
Like, I'm
That's
pretty
how many.
confident you're gonna know exactly who I'm talking about. So we'll start out. Let's play the game. So the first question, this isn't really necessarily a trading card thing. This is just like a question that I thought would be just fun to ask, is just for fun. If someone were to make a PRFF biopic about Jacob McGlone, who among us, other than you, of the 14 directors, of the other 13, who do you want to play you?
Oh, that's a good question. So there's a biopic and it's about me, but like
Mhm.
I'm busy directing it or something, so somebody else has
Yeah,
to.
like for whatever reason,
Okay.
you hire someone from the festival's playing you.
Okay, realistically, I would love for Zach to play me because I
Mhm.
feel that he can capture my chaoticness and
Mhm.
just similar personality. But in actuality, I would love for Paul to play me because he's the best looking, and I think at me being the second best looking guy in the group, I think it only makes sense that Paul would play me.
All right, understandable. Okay. So that was just kind of like an aside question, but I just thought it was interesting. Now here is the official mini game. So all these, I'm going to ask you some this or that scenarios,
Okay.
and they're all like characters. They're all things that are a trading card.
Okay.
So let's start with the first category. Who would you rather fight? So, if you could choose your opponent in a
Mhm.
fight, a la the standard mini game from the other podcasts, who would you rather fight? The beast from How Not to Find Food in the Wild, or the bear from How to Find Food in the Wild?
Wow, that's a good. I'm gonna go with the bear from How to Find Food in the Wild, just because
Okay.
it's from this planet, so I
Mhm.
feel like I know the anatomy of it. I would be able to. I feel like I have a fighting chance. Whereas the other thing, I'm not sure if it has bones. I'm not sure where its weaknesses are. Does it
Uh-huh.
bleed? Does it die? Yeah, who knows?
That's fair. It also has lasers from its eyes, so
Yeah, it has
that's another
lasers.
thing to watch out for. All right, awesome. Okay, so the second matchup, would you rather fight Edward, which was Zach's character from Evil,
Okay.
or Chuckles from The Rotten Roommate? And this is like demon possessed like Chuckles.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow. God, that's a great question. I'm blindsided by these. These are amazing. I'm gonna go with Edward, I think,
Okay.
because I don't think he has many powers other than being resilient to stabbing, whereas Chuckles has like telekinesis and mental manipulation and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I'm going with Zach's character from Evil.
He does have COVID though, so just saying
Yeah.
that that's a risk that you run with that one. But
Mhm.
all right, the final matchup in this category: would you rather fight Dr. Von Stice from End of the Bloodline, the dude who performs the surgery on Sam, or would you rather fight the lead bandit from Bargain Batman? That's Paul's character, Paul from
Mm.
Bargain Batman, or Matt from End of the Bloodline.
All right. Well, as far as we know, the lead bandit, doesn't have any weapons on him. We never see him with any.
Mhm.
But the doctor has a pizza cutter and a knife that are
That's true.
already, and we know that he is proficient with them. So I'm going to go with fighting Paul.
All right. The next category, or the next scenario: who would you rather be stuck in an elevator with? So you're in a skyscraper, you're headed to like the 100th floor, you're gonna go
Okay.
sightseeing, you just wanna, do your thing.
Yep.
But right before the door closes, someone, blocks it, and then they get onto the elevator, and you're like, okay, whatever, I'm riding with someone else, that's cool, it's fine, whatever. I'm never gonna see them again, I don't have to deal with them. But
Yeah.
somewhere along the journey, something malfunctions, the elevator stops. You
Yeah.
can't get to the top. It could be hours, you don't know. And you're stuck with this person. So if you had to choose, would you rather be stuck with Andrew from American Unsightly or
Ooh.
Zach from Sweaty Gains?
Oh, wow. Do either of them have shirts on?
No.
Or they okay. Like, oh God. Man, all right. I'm gonna go with Andrew King. I don't know why, but blood doesn't gross me out as much as gallons of
Well,
sweat.
it is ketchup blood, so there's that.
Yeah, who knows how long we're gonna be stuck in the elevator? We might
You need
need
a
to eat
source of
something.
food, so
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. The second scenario: would you rather be stuck with Evil Stice from Thrice the Stice
Mm.
or the Sidekick Bandits from Bargain Batman? So Zach and Josiah's characters.
All right, I don't necessarily see a downside to either of those, I'll be honest. Like, other than they are inherently bad. Like, it doesn't sound like they're gonna beat me up. I think I would choose Evil Stice
Mhm.
because since he is a genius, maybe I can hop on board and we can take over the world together. Whereas Zach and Josiah are like petty crooks, it seems like. So
Uh-huh. Gotcha. Okay. The final one for this scenario: would you rather be stuck with Senor Verde from Game Night, or would you rather be stuck with Eyewitness from Wet? So Trevor's, conspiracy theorist character from Wet.
oh God. Probably Trevor's character. Just sounds like it'd be really entertaining. I wish that segment went on for hours. So
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, there'd be no shortage of food. He'd have a lot of like clementines with him. To get that citrus. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the final category here. Which character from this universe? Actually, this is kind of a two-part category in a way.
Mhm.
Which character would you rather have direct your film? Let's say that you're in a scenario where like you have a script and you hire someone to direct it for you.
Mhm.
Who would you trust more to, express your vision? Like, who would you trust more? Would
Oh
you
no, this
trust
this seems dangerous. I don't want to play this category.
would you rather have Trevor from Photophobia? So that's Trevor's one. So that's he's the one who trapped Paul and the computer.
Okay.
Or would you rather have the Hand from Liepige, like the unseen character, the hand who was laying the traps down in Liepige. Who would you rather have direct your film?
Let's just go with Trevor. Feels like the easy answer.
All right. Who would you rather have direct your film? Paul Tagonist from Interconvolution, or Colonel Condiment from Game Night, Mitchell's character.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna say Mitchell's character, Colonel Condiment, because like there might be some bad puns in there, but at least people will understand them. Whereas Paul's character from Interconvolution, it's going to be a lot of time swapping, a lot of like really crazy stuff. So let's go with simple Colonel
right.
Condiment.
Fair enough. All right. Who would you rather have direct your film? This is the final one from this scenario. Would you rather have 1 Billion Lions direct your film? Or would you rather have Bargain Batman direct your film?
Bargain Batman, easy. I hate 1 million. Well, I hate 1 billion lions. They're terrible. They're terrible lions.
All right. Well then, okay. So let me ask you this then. Would you rather have the Stice clones, like all the Stice clones direct, or Bargain Batman?
Oh. All right. If there are, I'm trying to remember how many. I believe it's 21 total. If I have 21 Matt Stices working on my film, do you know how, one, the effects will be done on time because there will be so many of them working at it? Yeah, absolutely. 21 Matt Stices.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. I guess the final part to this question would be, if you had to have your film be in an entire, like, you have these characters, whoever ends up directing your film or whatever, it's all takes place in one location.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have your entire film take place in the cemetery from Liepige, or the candy town where the gummy bears live and how not to find food in the wild?
Probably the candy town. So it feels a little bit more interesting than the cemetery.
All right. Well, thank you for participating in the bonus content mini game. Everything that I mentioned in this this segment, those are all trading cards that are being sent out to the various people.
Amazing.
So yeah, by now, hopefully you all have seen the videos I previously mentioned, and well, once everybody gets the cards in, you can share them in the chat. Say what you got. Trading them is encouraged. If we get together for the festival, if you want to like mix it up, if someone's got a card you want or whatever, you can have at it. And then yeah, I think it'll be a fun addition to the overall collective PRFF world that we continue to build.
Now, Matt, tell me, is the goal to collect them all, or how do I go about collecting every single card?
So there's only one copy of each card. So in order to collect them all, you would basically just have to take them all from everybody. So maybe
New
you can
game.
put some.
I got it.
I don't know. However you want to go about doing that, I'll leave that up to you. But we're only going to print one copy of each card.
Wow, that makes them rare. The market is not oversaturated. That's
now I will say, if a card gets like lost or destroyed, then you may submit a request to the committee, the official Party Room Film Festival Trading Card Committee, and we will then determine whether a replacement card is warranted or not. So fear not. If something happens, we could potentially get you a replacement.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. All right, thank you. And Sam's not in the call, obviously, but thank you, Sam, when you hear this, for creating those cards. Can't wait for them.
Yep. And a shout out as well to our subcommittee members, Josiah and Zach, because they they helped a little bit. They're kind of like there's like the top committee of Sam and I, then like the subcommittee of Josiah and Zach.
Hmm.
Well, that's all I have for that interview. So I'm Matt Stice here with Jacob McGlone, and I'm just hanging out.
You say handing out?
Hanging out. Redo, take 2. I'm Matt Stice with Jacob McGlone, and I'm just hanging out.
Hanging out with my family.
Boom.